I'm Samuel Suknandan. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Hotel owner guns neighbor to death following fracas. Gunman kills Pomeroon farmer during home invasion. Preparations at advanced stage ahead of Guyana's hosting of International Aviation Conference. Man who stole $10 million mining equipment facing up to 80 months in jail or $100,000 fine. AFC PPP Region 6 councillors called for APNU colleagues to resign over non-attendance at RDC meetings. Human Rights Association wants all state-related oil companies to be independent ahead of first oil in 2020. Region 6 RDC spends $2 million in 1 week to send children to school, and former UG student in need of liver transplant appeals for help. We now tell you that a 30-year-old Kitty resident was on Saturday morning killed during a shooting incident with his neighbor. Rupa Sinarine was at the scene and filed this report.
The dead man has been identified as Jason de Flormont of Lot 96 5th Avenue, Sobrianville, Kitty. According to police information, it is alleged at about 1:45 this morning, Flormont and his 24-year-old girlfriend, Christine Rambaran, were involved in an argument in front of his home. This caught the attention of a handyman employed to the hotel opposite his house, who was recognized as 29-year-old Terence Newson. The intervention of Newson led to a confrontation between the two, and reports are that the deceased chased the handyman into the premises of the hotel. While in the hotel, the Flormont's attention turned to the hotel owner, Orin Bacchus, which resulted in Bacchus retaliating by firing 4 shots in the direction of the Flormont, which caught him on the right side of his chest. He was taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, where he was pronounced dead on arrival shortly after. When the evening news visited the scene, the aunt of the deceased related that she was at home at the time when the incident occurred.
I jumped up immediately. I jumped up to look out over the balcony. I heard my nephew's girlfriend. She screaming, Auntie Wendy, look back, the shoe Jason. So of course I ran out in my night clothes. When I go out, he was lying just on my side of the street, right by my parapet, motionless, but he was kind of gasping. When so I said, what happened, and I asked my neighbor, because she came out same time, asked her to call the police and the ambulance. So she said she did. Then Mr. Bacchus turned to me, because he rents right here, right in my yard. He rents a bit, and he lives over the road, plus he lives next door. He has the hotel, plus he lives next door. He says he rail up, and I had to shoot. He had to defend. I had to shoot. He rail up.
Meanwhile, it was related that the deceased and the suspect had many disputes and verbal exchanges in the past. She, however, claimed that the man was mentally unstable.
The altercation meet, because as you notice, it's right there. And it me there and Bacchus. Well, he and Bacchus had a vibe because Bacchus promised to shoot here a long time in my presence. This dude, if he asks the neighbors, he's very unstable. He's very, very, very unstable. Ask any neighbor the story.
This newscast was informed that video surveillance footage from a neighboring building was unobtainable since nearby trees and garbage bins obstructed the view where the shooting occurred. Police information has indicated that the businessman is a licensed firearm holder. He was arrested while the body is awaiting a post-mortem examination. Rupa Sinarine, The Evening News.
A 73-year-old farmer of Grant Maria's Delight, Lower Pomeroon River, Region 2, was shot at his home on Friday evening around 18:30 by a masked man who is currently being sought by the police. This newscast understands that the man Dionarine, also known as Russian, had moments before picked up his reputed lover, who witnessed the horrifying scene. According to her, they were sitting at a table when the man went to answer a call at the door and was greeted by the masked gunman. She said that she attempted to grab the gun from the man, who then whipped out a knife, which she also tried to prevent from hurting her lover. The farmer tried to flee the scene but was chased after the woman failed in her efforts to stop the man. The suspect ran after the pensioner and shot him to his left side abdomen before making his escape. The injured farmer was rushed by boat to the charity hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. His body is presently awaiting a post-mortem examination at the hospital mortuary, while his reputed lover remains in custody assisting with the investigations. A group of farmers on the quarantine are calling on the Chief Cooperatives Development Officer, Perlina Gert, to fast-track the revocation of a leased land that was granted to a family through a fraudulent misrepresentation. Details in this report.
Farmers occupying land obtained decades ago under the Johns Clifton Co-op Society are claiming that they were deceived by the only surviving founding member, who got a new lease for the land under a new co-op by giving false information to authorities. The lawyer of the aggrieved farmers, Anil Nandlal, explained that the new lease was granted by NISIL since the lands were initially property of the Guyana Sugar Corporation. He noted that the matter was brought to NISIL's attention and it was agreed to revoke the new lease, but only after given the go-ahead by the chief co-op officer.
NISIL has agreed once NISIL is advised by the chief co-op officer. I can't advise NISIL, I'm not NISIL's lawyer, but I think in principle they have accepted that they were misled into issuing the lease. But still, it is the co-op officer who has the authority to recall the instruments which have been issued to this company which got it, this co-op which got it by fraudulent misrepresentation.
The farmers disclosed that the chief co-op officer a few months ago had promised to have the new lease revoked, but that is yet to happen.
Ms. Give promised that he come to make one decision one time that she has first made a mistake and give this lease to this guy then. And she will try her best to bring it to a resolution. Up to the, I don't know after me. And I'm glad if the chief co-op officer could do something very soon, because this thing is dragging for a very long time. And we're running out of patience right now. And I beg the chief co-op officer or whoever can look into this matter and get this solved very early.
According to the farmers, since the new lease was granted, they are being threatened and prevented from using the lands which they have been occupying for decades.
I can't plant my rice field. I have about 80 coconut trees on the land, my share, and I can't go into the land and reap my coconut. And actually I'm prevented from going into the land because there is a big gate at the entrance of the society. And this is happening through many threats, that I can't go back there and do my business I'm supposed to.
Reporting for the Evening News, Fanu Manikchand.
We now tell you that Guyana will be hosting the International Civil Aviation Organization's annual air transport meeting in November, which will serve as a catalyst to showcase the country's potential. More in this report.
The Air Transport Conference will be held in Georgetown from November 21st to 23rd under the theme Promoting Connectivity for Sustainable Air Transport. According to Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Egbert Field, plans are in full swing to host the event, which is expected to focus on a wide array of areas.
It will be a conference in totality. It must address investment, tourism, interconnectivity, trade, those elements, infrastructure, those elements will be part of the agenda.
A marketing and operational support secretariat has been set up to spearhead preparations, and according to its director, Franklin Vera, the hosting of this conference will not only open doors for the local aviation sector, but for the country as a whole.
We've had meetings already with some companies, which includes beverage companies, because obviously we'll be utilizing a lot of beverage and meals, etc. We're also reaching out to the hotel industry for sponsorship as well. So that in itself will give an idea that we are not just sitting hoping. Also, we're hoping to capitalize on the opening of our brand new Chedijagan International Airport, which should be completed by then. And so we'll be happy to showcase that as part of showcasing Guyana, so that people will know that once And it gives a good indication of the opportunities available here because, as you know, Guyana is pivotally placed in the northeastern corner of South America. And so it's a good transition point for even carriers moving to the southern, the African, the continent. And so we're hoping that with the advent of this conference, people will have an opportunity to see the Chedijagan Airport and to see what facilities exist there.
While the ICAO is assisting with major international sponsors for the event, organizers have already secured 40 local ones, including Caribbean Airlines Limited and Sol Aviation Incorporated, both of which got on board on Friday. To this end, the organizers are calling on other local and regional companies to take advantage of the opportunity.
This is not a local conference, this is a global conference, and the marketing reach of your brand is to 192 states. To take your brand to 192 countries, it takes a lot of work, and with this conference, we're offering that opportunity.
The conference will be held at the Arthur Chung Conference Center with some 400 to 600 participants expected to attend. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Government members on the Region 6 RDC are being asked to resign to give others a chance to serve as regional councillors. In this Andrew Carmichael report, we hear that the call comes from both the PPP and AFC side of the House, as more than 70% of the coalition councillors have been absenting themselves from RDC meetings. Here's more.
The RDC has 30 seats, 19 to the PPP and 11 to the coalition. For most of the RDC meeting on Thursday, only 2 coalition councillors from the ASC fraction were present until an APNU councillor walked in towards the end of the meeting. Regional Chairman David Armagon and several PPP councillors said they were disappointed at the attitude of some of the coalition councillors towards the regional parliament. It is the trend which started at the turn of the year and worsened every month when RDC meetings are held. Armagon also said that the councillors representing the government have not been bringing ideas to the table, while oftentimes they are hesitant to debate topics.
The government side don't seem to be interested in representing anybody.
It's the first thing I ever see them.
Right, we expect the ideas to come from the government side, because that's the side that has the money and the power. So there are a lot of ideas should come from this side to be implemented within the region to make things better for the people of the region. Unfortunately, nothing is coming from this side, and they're not even debating what is proposed from this side.
Meanwhile, the PPP could also be accused of not filling one of its 19 seats, which has been vacant for months. Armagon, however, says he has been looking forward for more from the government side of the House as well.
The government policy, I mean, we all have an obligation at the RDC to push whatever government has as their policy. But then the government representative on this side of the House, they are the ones who should be pushing to ensure that government's policies are being implemented. Absolutely.
Even as the PPP side of the House has lashed out at the lack of attendance by coalition councillors at RDC meetings, coalition councillor Gobin Harbourgen has also lashed out at his colleagues and called on them to do the honourable thing. Harbourgen reminded the RDC that councillors should automatically lose their seats after being absent for 3 consecutive meetings without a valid excuse.
I'm very disappointed with the turnout of the government side of the council, especially my colleagues. I believe these councillors was put here to represent the people and the constituency. As you can see, especially on the budgetary meeting for 2018, the RDC budget, only a few of them would have been turned up. I'm also asking that if these councillors is not going to show up at RDC statutory meeting to represent the constituency or give them input, let they resign and give other person a chance.
Harbourgen, who is the Prime Ministerial Regional Representative, has been very critical whenever his political colleagues are fingered in questionable transactions. He also has been very vocal against corruption in the region and has been criticized publicly by many of his colleagues for his stance against corruption.
He was found guilty after a lengthy trial in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. It is alleged that between February 1 and February 15, 2018, while in the vicinity of Republic Park, East Bank, Demerara, he stole a wash plant and equipment used for gold mining, valued at $10 million, property of Mario Ferreira. According to the facts presented to the court on the day in question, the businessman paid a truck driver to transport the said equipment, which was parked in an empty lot next to the defendant, who was out of town at the time. Upon returning home, Ferreira noticed that the equipment was missing and without hesitation made several reports to the police station. Based on reports, Ferreira was able to make contact with the truck driver that was allegedly paid some $200,000 to remove the wash plant. According to him, the truck driver told him that he was contracted by Singh to transport the wash plant in his vehicle to Madhya Northwest District. However, the businessman was subsequently arrested and charged. Singh was ordered to pay a $100,000 fine or spend 18 months in jail. He was also instructed to transport the equipment back to Georgetown and pay for any damages caused. A young man is now seeking the public's help in funding his much-needed liver transplant surgery to be done in India. Davina Ramdas tells us more.
29-year-old Claude Anthony Fraser was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis or liver failure back in 2016. His whole world shook as he was told that he will need a liver transplant to carry out his daily activities. Fraser, who is currently unable to work due to his medical condition, told the Evening News that he was lucky enough to have a caring sister who readily volunteered to donate her liver. The man is currently battling to have his health restored despite having a swollen tummy due to his partial inability to urine. He has undergone several procedures to have the dangerous fluids removed, but will need to have the surgery done at an early date. Despite being diagnosed at just 26, the young man said he always experienced difficulties as a child. The troubles for the young man did not end there, however, since he is now tasked with finding US $45,000 to facilitate his surgery in India.
I am at what is called care level 3, right? And it means it's a very advanced stage, and the thing basically, if it goes beyond that, then no hospital in the world to perform a liver transplant. Right, so basically my liver failure is damaged, and a transplant is necessary. It's this type that we have highlighted. But they rather suggested is the living donor liver transplant, whereby an individual who has similar blood group and preferably a family member donate a part of their liver.
He informed that the sum of money being requested for the surgery does not even cover his travel and accommodation expenses. Fraser noted that he was trying his best to find a cheaper option, but found out that India happens to be the most affordable way out. The man said that he joined the Georgetown Hospital clinic to explore his option, as he was hopeful of his condition improving, but was to no avail. The young man is now appealing for financial donations to help save his life. Persons who are willing to donate can do so by contacting him on telephone numbers 697-9349 or 645-5147. Donations can also be made to his GoFundMe account using bank and credit cards. Davina Ramdas for the Evening News.
The Appeal Court of Guyana has overturned a March 2013 decision of former Acting Chief Justice Ian Chang, who had ruled in favor of 3 persons who claimed that a buyer of a vessel paid no installments out of a $22 million mortgage agreement. The details in this story.
Highlighting that adjournments were given without reasons, Chancellor of the Judiciary Justice Yonet Cummings-Edwards and Appellate Court Justices Rafiq Khan and Dr. Arif Bolkan set aside the decision of former Acting Chief Justice Ian Chang. Chang on March 1, 2013 determined that Richard Simpson should pay 48 monthly installments of $468,750 to original litigants Abdul Yassin and family members Abdul Naeem Yassin and Halima Bibi Yassin for a $22.5 million both, the MVU fee, which they claimed he mortgaged from them and made no payments. The matter stems from April 10, 1996, when in front of the Registrar of Deeds, Simpson willingly gave up 2 immovable properties he owned to the respondents for them to secure the $22.5 million payment. The Yassins filed their court case 20 days later on April 30, 1996, but court documents showed that Justice Chang had dismissed the Yassins' claim but restored it on June 8, 2009. Simpson, however, appealed the 2013 decision by Chang, stating that the mortgage was illegal and that he was deceived by the family into signing a hire purchase agreement. In overturning the High Court ruling, the appellate judges noted that Simpson never appeared in person to testify and that nowhere in the mortgage deed it was stated that the $22.5 million sum was for a loan transaction. The court also held that Abdul Naim gave conflicting evidence when he said he did not know whether Simpson paid any money to his father, and then when he later said that Simpson never paid any money to them. His father, the senior Yassin, died during the 22 years the case has been before the courts. The Yassins were represented by attorney Sais Gonraj, while Subidar Hussain appeared for the appellant Simpson. No court costs were awarded when the decision was handed down. Shemuel Fanfare, The Evening News.
200 Guyanese in the coming days will be benefiting from scholarships given by the American University of Peace Studies to boost their knowledge in the area of domestic violence. Here's this Divina Ramdas report.
This was related by the Chief Executive Officer of the university, Dr. Ethan Simon, at the university's Sheriff Street, Georgetown location earlier today during a domestic violence conference. The program being offered locally at the university is deemed Trainers of Trainers. At the end of the 6 months training, participants will be given a certificate. The program is geared towards changing and empowering minds to cope and provide counseling to domestic violence victims.
We have put together a Trainers of Trainers program. And this Trainers of Trainers program, it runs for 6 months. And within the Trainers of Trainers program, it is very comprehensive and covered all aspects of transformation that any human being can embrace to bring about a shift in consciousness.
He added that the program begins on August 15 for persons 18 years and above.
The grants will be given to anyone. With this training, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, you don't have to be a scholar. All you have to do is to have the urge and the desire to make a difference. That's all you have to do.
Dr. Simon noted that 100 persons from the Georgetown area will receive the grants, while another 100 will be drawn from areas such as Bartica, Berbice, and others. Davina Ramdas for the Evening News.
We now tell you that the Guyana Civil Aviation authorities move in steadfastly in becoming fully compliant with the International Civil Aviation Organization ahead of the rush of economic activities that Guyana is expected to experience upon oil production. More in this report.
Director General of the GCAA, retired Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Field, has stated that within recent years, the local aviation industry has moved a good way up the ladder towards the ICAO standards, something which the international body is very pleased with.
They displayed their pleasant feeling when they presented us with the President's certificate last year. So we are moving, we are training our staff, spending a lot in that area in order to ensure that there's a robust authority to meet the challenges of tomorrow. And the challenges are coming very fast.
According to the Director General, these challenges are fast approaching, especially with the impending oil and gas industry.
You cannot understand or imagine what we will face in another year. With the extended runway and the expanded airport, we're looking to have travels from as far away as Africa and even Europe coming into Guyana. As I say to my staff, there's a tsunami ahead of us, and we've got to work hard to build this authority, for robust oversight of the industry.
Back in January, Field had listed safety regulations as a top priority for the authority this year. In fact, he noted that one of the GCAA's primary goals in 2018 is to amend its regulations to comply with the standards and recommended practices outlined by IK.
Oil and gas institutions must be protected from political directives. Here are the details.
This was expressed by the association's executive committee in a statement on Saturday. In the statement, they questioned how the oil sector will directly improve the lives of citizens. According to the association, entities that will have an input on state oil resources must be insulated from partisan political directives. The body pointed to the recent controversies surrounding the appointment of a Guyana Elections Commission chairman. This, it said, would indicate the difficulties of filling posts through a bipartisan process. According to the body, the appointment of the questionably rather than the eminently suitable are forcing certain considerations. These considerations, it noted, included whether it was time to appoint foreign nationals with the needed experience and qualifications for certain posts. The association's statement comes even as the Petroleum Commission bill sits on the order paper to be discussed in Parliament. It was sent to a special select committee last year after intense criticism by the parliamentary opposition regarding the powers of the minister. For instance, the bill would allow the Natural Resources Minister to both act in the board's absence or to dismiss the board. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
To commemorate Georgetown's 175th anniversary, the Main City Council MNCC will facilitate a massive cleanup campaign of the city on August 12, 2018 at the Stabroek and Border Markets. Here are the details in this report.
The Council is calling on all corporations, organizations, agencies, groups and individuals to take part in this exercise, which will include cleaning of drains, weeding of parapets, removal of scattered and accumulated refuse from pavements, roadsides and other thoroughfares. Also trimming and painting of trees and other beautification activities. According to the MNCC, through a press release, they will be providing all cleaning tools and garbage bags to assist those who will be part of this campaign. It said that street and roadside vending would not be permitted on that day in the central business district of the city. The council is also calling on all store owners to support the campaign and cooperate with its officials to sanitize the area in which they operate. Corporations and community groups interested in doing their cleanup must make contact with the Solid Waste Department or visit the office of the town clerk to register for collection and removal of waste. During last week's launching of City Week, Mayor of Georgetown, Patricia Chase Green, had mentioned that the activities are expected to begin on August 19, 2018, will be one filled with various activities showcasing the diversity of the city. On August 19, the day will start with a church service at the St. George's Cathedral, followed by an opening ceremony at Stabroek Market Square. Some of the other activities planned include an art and craft exhibition on Main Street, a health fair, a cocktail reception, and a beachfront party at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. It was also noted that most of the funding for these activities will be sponsored by several different companies. The City Week celebration will be branded and promoted as a tourism attraction. For the evening news, Yanala Dalrymple.
The Region 6 administration spent $2 million to transport school children in 1 week. Andrew Carmichael reports.
The money was spent to take children from the region to Georgetown for rehearsals and Independence Day flag-raising ceremony. The disclosure was made to the RDC on Thursday by Zamal Hussein, who is also a member of the Regional Tender Board. He told the RDC that the board was only made aware of it after the money was spent. A document seen by the Evening News indicates that $2,080,000 was paid to Desmond Alfonso for transporting children from Berbice High School to Georgetown between May 17 and 24. The funds came from the Education Department's budget and was not budgeted for when the 2018 budget was prepared. Meanwhile, the Region 6 National Grade 6 Assessment results for 2018 shows that only 43% of the pupils passed the examination. This means that 57% of the students who will be entering secondary schools in the region cannot master work at the primary level. The results also show that only 34% of the pupils passed mathematics. It is against this backdrop that the region spent over $2 million of unbudgeted funds to transport children for Independence celebration rehearsals. When Hussein informed the RDC on Thursday of the spending, Regional Chairman David Armagon said the Education Ministry should make it a policy to spend money on education delivery. He noted that a mathematics specialist was hired by the Education Department to assist at the primary level and only 34% of the students passed. Also of concern is the process under which the funds were spent.
And I asked the Redo, and the Redo told me that, on the sidelines that this was a policy by the Ministry of Education to get cadet corps to go for training for Independence celebration in Georgetown, which is fair, but to the Education Committee, we didn't see anything in writing. So I'm kind of puzzled and muzzled in terms of how we can be able to get the Minister of Education or whosoever minister, the Minister of Social Cohesion, to direct the region to expend $2 million in excess to hire buses to carry down students to the cadet corps in Georgetown.
So I hope that the minister, whoever gave that instruction, the PS, or who, will write to us justifying that kind of spending, so that we know that it has been done on an instruction from the Ministry of Education, and not by a discretion exercised by anybody in the administration.
This is a large sum of money. And even if we have to go down that road to hire buses, what was the process in hiring buses? This is a lot of money to hire buses for 4 days. How many buses were hired and what is the cost? At least we should have a proper procurement transaction being done here. Go and take quotations, and this transaction should have done before, all these things should have done before the activity. You can't commit the money and do the business and then bring the thing after to tender board.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
We now tell you that Digicel today launched its summer promotion, which will give lucky customers the opportunity to win smartphones and cash prizes. Here's more in this report.
A total of 33 high-end smartphones and $1 million cash prizes are up for grabs this summer as Digicel officially launches promotions for this time of the year. On Monday, the new $700 top-up cards will also be launched, which is part of the promotion. Tamika Henry highlighted some of the prizes that can be won this year, which includes free credit, the Galaxy S8, S9, the iPhone 10, and cash prizes of up to $1 million.
But the first thing that we're giving away is free credit. Every time you top up with $700, you get the chance to win $1,000 credit back. Every single day, we're giving 20 lucky customers $1,000 back in free credit. So it's as if you're making a profit of $300 just for topping up with $700. You can also win $1 million. Apart from that, we're giving away the credit, the smartphones, and 3 lucky persons can win $1 million each.
She also gave an insight on how customers can enter to win.
Every time you top up with $700, you get a special letter. And that's actually how you win the prize. You have to spell the word GRAB, which is G-R-A-B, and then the prizes, the code for the prizes that you are going to win. So let me go through each of the prizes. The first prize we have up for grabs, apart from the credit, is a smartphone. Digicel is giving away 33 smartphones throughout the summer. And I'm talking high-end smartphones. They're giving away the S9, they're giving away the S8, and they're also giving away the iPhone 10. That's crazy. So here's how you win. Once again, you spell the letters, G-R-A-B. If you want to win the S9, you have to get the letter S and the number 9 as well. So a winner would have to have G, R, A, B, S, and 9. So 6 to win.
Similarly, for the S9, customers would have to obtain the letter S and the number 9. For the iPhone 10, the winning letters will be I and X. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
Now let's take a look at what's happening inside the courts with Yanana Dalrymple.
Thank you, Norier. A South Better Hope teen was earlier today remanded to prison by Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan when he appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts slapped with an attempted murder charge. Erwin Smith, 18, was not required to plead to the indictable charge, which stated that on July 30, 2018, while in the vicinity of Avenue of the Republic, Georgetown, he caused grievously bodily harm to James Abrams with intent to murder him. According to facts presented to the court in the day in question, the accused asked a friend of the virtual complainant for $100 to catch transportation to go home. However, the man refused to give him the money and gave it to Abrams, who was the bus driver of the minibus at the time. Further, Smith refused to go into the minibus and asked that Abrams give him back the money. After the victim refused, an argument ensued between the two, and Smith reached into his pocket and pulled out the scissors and dealt the bus driver several stabs about his body. More so, the prosecution objected to bail being granted and told the court that the victim received life-threatening injuries and is currently recovering from an injured lung and stab wounds to his neck. The prosecution also cited the serious nature of the offense. The prosecution's submission was upheld by the chief magistrate, and the teen was remanded until August 8, 2018 for report and fixture. A 30-year-old Alboyston resident was earlier today refused bail by Magistrate Fabio Azor after he was arraigned with a robbery charge. Leonard Alicock of James Street, Alboyston, Georgetown, pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to him. The court heard that on July 29, while in the vicinity of Alboyston, Georgetown, he robbed Christopher Gonzalez of 4 gold chain, value $340,000, and a cellular phone, value $240,000. Police prosecutor objected to bail being granted to the accused, and bail was refused, and the matter was adjourned until August 17. And finally, in the courts, Simon Haywood, 21, of Lot 4, Drysdale and Ketley Street, Alboyston, was earlier today refused bail when he appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts to answer to a robbery under arms charge. Haywood denied allegations made out against him when it was read to him by Magistrate Fabio Azor. It was alleged that on July 16, 2018, he robbed Ayud Kadir of 1 cellular phone and 1 gold chain. In his defense, he told the court that he was not around when the robbery occurred and only learned of it when he returned home later that day. And with that, we've now come to an end of